Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Oops, lighting is low. Hope that helps a little bit. Hi, thank you so much for dropping by. Going through the old comments, and I love this one. Someone wrote about a movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, and in it, this person has a weapon that they control with their mind. He says something in the movie like, I am not controlling the arrow with my mind, but with my soul. I stand corrected. Like a remote car toy. And this person wrote, that's the will. The power of soul, which connects with God's energy and heals us. Thanks for presenting these simple techniques and for the advice, which was important for me. And that's it. You know, engaging the will both to receive. I mean, for me, will is at the absolute foundation of what Bruno taught. I sometimes go back and forth. Is it will or is it faith? And maybe we'll be exploring that for the rest of our spiritual journey. But regardless, to have the will to connect to God, the will to receive God's energy, and the will for the good. And, you know, this maybe starts out as something we do while tuning in, but then it becomes it needs to become a moment by moment thing, because moment by moment we're receiving the energy of God or the energy of evil, or the thoughts that are good or the thoughts that come from the evil side. And you know, that's the ultimate goal, to be connected to God moment by moment, to be guided moment by moment. And how to do that is the will, engaging our will. And I love that this person, through watching a movie, was better able to understand. And yes, will is not of the mind. It's my understanding, it's like one of the deepest aspects of our soul. So let's engage that will. Engage that will to receive, to be free. And then observe our bodies. Again, engaging that will. We don't have to stress about it. My understanding is tuning in. Einstein is not just, it's kind of like relaxed focus. Negative thoughts arise, firmly saying no to them. Continuing to engage that will to receive. Bruno spoke of the spiritual life. He used the word Krieg, battle, war, life or death struggle. I don't think maybe life or death struggle is, but Krieg can mean that, but I believe he means like an intense struggle, a conflict. And what is that conflict? Moment by moment, engaging our will for God, moment by moment, watching thoughts. And I'm a human being. I don't know about everyone watching. I fall short every day, probably every hour. I fall short. I stop watching my thoughts. I stop engaging my will or desire. What is will? The deepest desire for God. And I pick myself up, and as they say, pick yourself up and get back in the race. We're not doing this alone. Bruno and Jesus, and I assume many other pure beings are here to help us. I'm going to read a little bit from Wisdom of Life, Volume 1. And here's the first quote. Man acts according to his will. As his will, so his thought. The thought moves man to deed. If you want to experience the divine, you must strive for it. Love, life, God. God is everywhere. You don't have to go very far to find God. That was me. We don't have to go very far. The rest of these are quotes of Bruno. I call you to the great reversal, the great turnaround, or the radical change. Have faith and trust. The divine power helps and heals. Nothing is incurable. I believe the German actually says, there's no such thing as incurable. There is much that can be explained, but nothing that cannot occur. This next one is often translated, for God, nothing is impossible. But I've looked at the German, and actually it says, God is nothing impossible. It's very profound to think about God as limitless possibility. If that's what, I believe that's what Bruno was trying to communicate. Both. Yes, for God, nothing is impossible. And God is nothing impossible. Where the need is greatest, the Lord God is nearest. Whoever believes in his health believes in God. So let's sit with these for a little bit. Engaging our will, having faith and trust, remembering that nothing is incurable. There's no such thing. that God is limitless possibility, that for this divine power helps and heals, and for this divine power, nothing is impossible. Let's recognize that us as individuals, much less the human race as a whole, we must radically change, must turn around completely, back to God, back to nature. Let's recognize that we may not be able to understand everything, but literally, I love Bruno's words, there is nothing that cannot occur. This next one is so powerful for the year 2021 and last year as well. When the need is greatest, the Lord God is nearest. When I get into fear, and I assume I'm not alone in this, God seems very far away. But according to Bruno, that's when God is closest. I don't know if it's a direct quote of Bruno, but I believe Greta Hausler said that Bruno Groening understood the game of life, that the evil attracts the good and the good attracts the evil. Let me check real quick. Still moving, don't have that book handy. So Bruno called it a game, but he also called it a struggle, a battle between good and evil. It's a game, in my view, it's a game because the good's going to win. It's a struggle because evil is mighty. And because it can be quite painful. In high school, I wrestled. I may not look like the wrestling type, but I did. It was intense. It was really intense. Sometimes painful, scary, and in this game of life, let's face it, it can be brutal. Evil can really wreak havoc. I've experienced it myself. I know people who have, and you don't have to look very far to see that while Bruno speaks of life as a game, we can, just in our own experience, all of us here have hurt deeply. We all know people who've been hurt deeply by evil running amok. It's a very intense game. It's a full contact sport. And in fact, Bruno, in essence, said if you don't take evil, you need to take evil seriously. In essence, he said if you don't take it seriously, you're playing with it. So let's take it seriously. And let's take even more seriously that there's something more powerful than evil. A warm welcome to my live viewers, and thanks to everyone who dropped by. Let's close by wanting the good for ourselves, wanting the good for those around us, our friends and neighbors, and family. And for the whole world. I would argue most important for ourselves, that we as individuals make the great turnaround, that we strive for it every day. As we started off, strengthen our will, strengthen our determination every day, asking God, asking Bruno for help in that. Thanks so much for joining in. Take care. Much love.